Hello friends, welcome. What if I told you the story you're about to hear isn't just from a movie, but is actually inspired by real events? Yes, everything you'll see today really happened. That's why you must stay with me till the very end. And don't forget, no matter how good our videos are, if you don't hit the like button, they won't reach more people. So quickly tap that like, and if you enjoy it, type YES in the comments. As for the name of this movie, well, you'll only find that out at the end of the video. So now, let's start the story. The year is 1991 in an Italian prison. We see three boys entering the jail for the very first time. As soon as they arrive, the other prisoners start welcoming them. One of the boys, when he enters his barrack, is also warmly welcomed by the inmates there. From their words, it's clear this boy isn't an ordinary prisoner. That night, after everyone falls asleep, a prisoner from another barrack comes quietly to him and wakes him up. He asks, "Are you Enrico?" The boy replies, "Yes, I'm Enrico." The prisoner then says, "Listen carefully. Your brother Angelo, who is in another barrack, has sent me to give you a message. He said your money is completely safe. He buried it underground and built a tennis court over it. Once your sentence is over, in 10 years, that land will belong to you, and the money buried under the court will be yours." Then the man adds, "I've been in this prison for 20 years. I don't even know what the outside world looks like anymore. But tell me, how did you three brothers earn so much money? Who exactly are you?" Hearing this, Enrico doesn't reply at all. Now the story takes us back to 1976, to the city of Naples, Italy. In a flat, we see an old lady receive a phone call. The caller is a man named Pascal, who also happens to be her neighbor. After the call, the old lady calls out to another woman living nearby, Marissa. She tells Marissa, "Your husband said he'll be home soon, so keep the tea bottles ready." In the next scene, we see a group of kids. Marissa then calls two of them, Pep and Angelo, upstairs to fill the tea bottles. She asks them, "Where is your brother Enrico?" Angelo replies, "He must be at the shop right now." Marissa tells them, "Go call him and bring him home." Cut to Enrico. We see him standing inside an electronic record store. Here, Enrico spends his day listening to music on the radio. Amazingly, he knows exactly which song will play next, even before it starts. Just then, Enrico's brothers also arrive. The shop owner asks them, "How does he know about all the songs in advance?" Angelo replies, "Enrico does the same at home too." The next scene shows the three brothers at home preparing tea. They carefully pour it into bottles and label them. And now it's revealed. These are the same three brothers we saw entering prison in the beginning of the movie. This part shows their childhood days. Their father, Pascal, arrives home. Marissa tells him that the rent is still due, and the landlord humiliated them earlier. Pascal reassures her, saying, "I've already spoken to the landlord. I'll pay him soon." After coming inside, Pascal tastes the tea prepared by his sons and points out what it's missing. Enrico then requests his father, "Please take us with you today. We'll help you with your work." So Pascal agrees and takes all three of his sons in his car. He brings them to the market with those tea-filled bottles. There, Pascal is talking to an officer. He offers him a bottle of real whiskey to taste. After tasting, the officer says, "All right, give me the whole box of whiskey." At that moment, Pep runs up and asks the officer for money. Pascal scolds Pep and shoos him away. Meanwhile, under the table, Pascal's children secretly switch the whiskey bottle with one filled with tea. Pascal apologizes to the officer for the disturbance, then takes the money and sells him the entire carton of whiskey. And this is how Pascal cheats tourists, by selling them tea in whiskey bottles. Now the story jumps to 1985. Enrico has grown up and goes to a bar, hoping to get work as a DJ. At that moment, another boy named DJ Revolver is giving his audition. When Enrico gets his turn, he tells the bar owner his name is Frattasio Enrico. Hearing this, the owner laughs. "What kind of name is that?" Thinking quickly, Enrico says, "Call me DJ Enrico." The owner replies, "All right, let me see if there's any spot available for you." Just then, the bar the friend arrives, and the bar owner gets busy talking to him. Enrico sits there alone, waiting. His eyes then fall on DJ Revolver's bag, where it was written, "Mixed by Revolver." Enrico instantly likes that name. One by one, all the DJs start performing in the bar, and soon it's DJ Revolver's turn. At this point, Enrico goes up to the bar owner and asks when his turn will come. The bar owner replies that he won't be able to perform tonight because the bar has to close by 2000 AM. Otherwise, the police will shut it down. The bar owner then asks Enrico if he does any other work. Enrico says yes, he works at a music shop. When he used to visit the shop as a kid, the owner saw him hanging around and gave him a cleaning job. And in his free time, Enrico would mix music tapes there. The bar owner explains to him, being a DJ isn't just an ordinary job. To be a DJ, you need style, a certain personality, and a strong appearance. All of that matters a lot. And none of that shows in you, he says. He further warns Enrico never to use the name DJ Enrico again. Just putting DJ in front of your name doesn't make you a DJ. Take my advice. Don't ever leave your cleaning job." Saying this, the bar owner walks away. The next day, Enrico is back at the shop doing his cleaning work. Meanwhile, the shop owner is talking to a customer and says, "This boy Enrico is a genius when it comes to music." After the customer leaves, the shop owner also goes out for lunch. Enrico then begins working on a mixtape. Actually, this tape he was preparing for his brother's girlfriend, Francesca. On the cassette cover, he writes, "Songs for Francesca, chosen by DJ Enrico." When Enrico reads that name, he pauses and thinks for a moment. Then he scratches out DJ Enrico and instead writes, "Mixed by Erry." Later, Enrico reaches home. His brother Pepe asks if the tape is ready, but Enrico hadn't added the exact songs Pepe had asked for. Pepe gets a bit worried, since his girlfriend was already upset with him. Still, Pepe takes the cassette and leaves for his girlfriend's house. Meanwhile, Enrico feels hungry. Just then, his brother Angelo tells him that police helicopters are hovering outside. Angelo says, "I think the police are finally going to arrest the king today. Come on, let's go and see." On the other side, Pepe rings the doorbell at his girlfriend Francesca's house. She takes the cassette from him and goes upstairs. Meanwhile, Enrico is wandering the streets when he accidentally bumps into a group of boys. Enrico apologizes, but the boys start harassing him. One of them says, "Isn't this the same guy who works at the record store cleaning floors?" This hurts Enrico, and he replies angrily, "I don't clean floors. I'm a DJ." Hearing this, the boys start beating him up. Meanwhile, Francesca plays the cassette in her room. As the songs start playing, she completely loses herself in the music. Back on the streets, the boys continue beating Enrico. Just then, Angelo arrives. He puts a stone inside his sock and strikes one of the boys hard, making him fall to the ground with a bleeding head. At the same time, the police also arrive and arrest the king. In the next scene, we see a church where Francesca is marrying Pepe. Pepe's whole family is present there. A police officer also arrives, bringing Angelo along, since he had been granted special permission to attend his brother's wedding from prison. The next day, when Enrico goes back to the record store, he finds out that the owner has sold it, since he got a very good price for it. The owner tells Enrico, "You're very talented. Such phases come in everyone's life. If you want, you can take all those empty tapes for yourself. And my advice, start your own business." In the following scene, we see Pepe standing on the seashore along with several other men. In reality, Pepe was smuggling cigarette packs. Suddenly, the police arrive, and everyone drops their cigarette packs and runs away. Pepe somehow manages to return home, exhausted and worn out. Francesca is already standing there. Pepe tells her that the cigarette smuggling business is now over. When Pepe enters inside, he sees that a few men were already sitting there, waiting for him. Sitting there, Enrico had brought some blank tapes from the store. Pepe tells Enrico straight up that they can't build a life on this small hustle alone. Enrico replies that he can copy tapes and sell them, but one tape takes a full hour to duplicate. Francesca overhears and asks, "What if there's a faster way to copy tapes? We've already put people on the moon. Isn't there a device that can duplicate a tape quickly?" The idea excites both brothers. They head to a bookstore and start scanning magazines. Enrico finds an article about a duplicatograph, a machine that can copy a 1-hour tape in 2 minutes. The catch, it costs 7 million Italian lire, far beyond their means. Pepe wants to drop the idea, but Francesca suggests they borrow the money. Motivated, the brothers go to see Mario, a local big-time thug. Mario asks bluntly how much money they need. They tell him the figure, and Mario agrees to lend, but on brutal terms. If they don't repay 7 million lire within a month, interest explodes. After 1 month, they'll owe 8 million. After 2 months, 12 million, then 13 million, and so on. Armed with Mario's loan, they open their own shop. Customers flood in, and they begin selling duplicated tapes. A girl asks for a tape of her favorite romantic song. Enrico recommends one, and she warns, "If I don't like it, you'll give me another one." She leaves, satisfied. Over the next days, Pepe and Francesca help Enrico make a lot of cash. In just 15 days, they rake in 13 million lira. Pepe calculates that after paying Don Mario's loan and covering all costs, each of them will still get roughly 1 million lire, a huge sum. Francesca laughs, delighted. But Enrico isn't fully content. He wants his own mix, a track labeled "Mixed by Erry," placed on those tapes. He's convinced he knows exactly what people will like, and that if they tailor tapes to popular taste, they can earn far more. Pepe points out that to reach the whole country, they'd need bulk orders and a large sales network. The idea sets his mind turning. The next day, Pepe meets the cigarette smugglers he knows at the docks and offers them the tapes. "You sell a carton of smuggled cigarettes for X profits. How much do you make per box?" One smuggler answers about 1,000 lire. Pepe proposes selling the tapes to them for 100 lira, so they can resell in Italian markets for around 5,000 lira risk-free under the radar. The smugglers like the deal. The brothers return to Don Mario and give him back the first loan amount. Now they need a bigger loan to scale. They borrow 200 million lire from Don Mario and use it to buy large quantities of blank tapes and equipment. Pepe says, "Get every blank tape in that go-down." The supplier thinks the boys are joking. Then Enrico dumps the entire money bag on the counter. Seeing so much cash, the man is stunned. Enrico ramps up production. They buy multiple copying machines and quickly duplicate thousands of tapes, stockpiling them, waiting for the smugglers to come take the bulk shipments and distribute them to other cities. Days pass and no one shows. Then a man arrives and makes a call from a hospital. Enrico recognizes the number and realizes this caller has been roughing up smugglers and breaking their bones. The man is a Moroccan mafia figure. He threatens them. If they don't pay him 10 million lire, he'll return and wreck their entire business. The man starts leaving. At that very moment, Angelo also comes out of the store. He had just been released from prison. Later, they all sit together for lunch. But Enrico and Pepe remain silent. Their father notices this and asks them, "What happened to you two?" Pepe replies, "Everything is fine. It's just that the Moroccan mafia has threatened us. He's demanding 10 million lira from us, and he has already beaten up all our smugglers, sending them to the hospital." Hearing this, their father says, "I think Angelo can help you in this matter." Later, Angelo takes them to a man who could indeed help them. While in prison, Angelo had befriended many such people, all of them connected with the world of crime. The next scene shows the Moroccan mafia inside his house, watching TV. When he steps outside, he notices his TV antenna lying on the ground, as if someone had pulled it down. When he looks closer, he sees that it was Enrico and Pepe who had knocked it over. The mafia boss begins shouting at them. Suddenly, Angelo appears from behind and points a gun at the Don's head. Angelo's friends also bring out the Don's men and hold them outside. Angelo starts threatening the mafia boss and his men. But just then, a huge explosion occurs inside the Don's house. The blast destroys the entire house. This was all planned by the three brothers, done only to scare the mafia. After that, their business begins to run at full speed. Day by day, DJ Erry becomes more and more famous, and their customer base keeps growing rapidly. They even set up huge labs where tapes were copied in massive quantity. Soon, they had over 100 workers working under them. Their tapes were spreading everywhere in Italy, and now the three brothers were swimming in money. They even bought themselves a Lamborghini. Later, Angelo takes Enrico to a nightclub. There, the DJ announces Erry's name, and the crowd gives him a grand welcome. Enrico goes to the console and starts playing music. That's when he notices the same girl who had once come to his store. Enrico immediately recognizes her. Her name was Teresa. Soon, Enrico and Teresa start talking. Enrico says, "You wanted a romantic tape. If you'd like, I can go to the lab right now and make one just for you." Hearing the word lab, Teresa looks a bit shocked. Still, Enrico takes her in his car and drives her to his lab. Meanwhile, we see Enrico's brothers hanging out with girls, enjoying themselves, with their Lamborghini parked right beside them. Carmine, a mafia boss, sees this Lamborghini and asks his driver, "Whose car is this?" The driver replies, "This Lamborghini belongs to the Frattasio brothers. They distribute tapes under the name Mixed by Erry." On the other side, Enrico is with Teresa inside his lab. He puts headphones on her and lets her listen to a track. After listening, Teresa asks, "Which song is this?" Enrico replies, "This song is going to be launched tomorrow. It's from the San Remo festival." Teresa is shocked and says, "So you've released this song before its official launch?" Enrico says, "Yes." Hearing this, Teresa is stunned. They come close to each other, almost about to kiss. But just then, Enrico's brothers arrive and knock on the door. Enrico opens it, and Pepe tells him, "Someone wants to meet us. We have to leave right now." Next, the three brothers arrive at a grand, luxurious party. They are dazzled by the glamour all around them. A cameraman even clicks their photos. Soon, a man approaches and asks, "Which one of you is Erry?" When Erry identifies himself, the man tells him to come inside. Erry follows him and finds many people already gathered there. This man turns out to be none other than Carmine, the same mafia boss who had earlier asked about their Lamborghini. Carmine asks Erry, "So you're the one selling those tapes under the name Mixed by Erry?" Erry replies, "Yes, I'm Erry." Carmine sits beside him and says, "Erry, I've heard that your business is going really well. You're making a lot of money. The kind of money you're earning. We'd need 3 lifetimes in prison to earn that much. How many brothers do you have?" Enrico replies, "We are 3 brothers." Carmine says, "From today, we are 4 brothers. I am also your brother now." Actually, Carmine wanted to enter into partnership with Enrico's business. Enrico doesn't quite understand and leaves with his brothers. The brothers, however, are nervous, and one of them says, "There's no harm in this. We don't want to make enemies." Just then, they notice trucks passing on the road, filled with armed men heading straight towards Carmine's house. The brothers are lucky. They had already left just in time. The next day, the news channels were filled with only one story: a violent clash between 2 criminal gangs the previous night. in which many people were killed. Among the dead were Carmine and his entire family. Later, when the police investigate the crime scene, they find some photographs from the party. In one of the photos, the three brothers are clearly visible. The film then takes us to the year 1987, during a time in Italy when a rally was going on. At that very moment, Angelo receives a message on his pager. When he sees it, he becomes scared. Actually, the police had raided one of their record stores, and for the very first time, the word pirate was used for them. This meant that what Enrico was doing, taking someone else's music, mixing it, and copying it, was considered illegal. Later, Angelo shows both brothers a newspaper and says, "Look, the news is calling us pirates." Then Pepe replies, "We don't pay any taxes, nor do we make receipts. We don't even have a cash register." And the one who raided our lab was police officer Riccardi. He's the same man who once came to the city disguised as a cigarette smuggler. At that moment, Pepe gets an idea. They will organize their entire business. After that, they register their company under different names so that they could do business with all their clients and keep their money organized. But Officer Riccardi continued raiding their labs. Later, when the police raid one of their apartments, Riccardi notices that everyone had already escaped beforehand. One day, Captain Riccardi is driving down the street when he suddenly stops his car. He sees a man selling several tapes in public, and among them was even a tape of the Sanremo festival. But that festival was still going on, and its music hadn't even been released yet. Seeing this, Riccardi becomes frustrated and goes to his senior, asking him to issue a warrant for the arrest of the three brothers. But his senior doesn't give any positive response. According to him, mixing tapes wasn't really a big crime. After leaving his senior's office, Riccardi is extremely frustrated. Now, in the movie, we are introduced to Arturo Barambani, a wealthy man and the CEO of a huge company, which Forbes ranked among the top 10 in Italy. Barambani is checking through his buyers list when he finds something strange. He calls his assistant and asks, "Has there been a mistake in the buyers list?" It says here that a company named Mixed by Erry has ordered blank tapes worth 5 billion lira. The assistant replies, "Sir, this is not a mistake. It's correct." Hearing this, Barambani is left shocked. Later, Barambani calls the three brothers to his office. After meeting them, he even takes them to a luxurious hotel for lunch. There, Barambani offers them a deal. He would create a single supplier system for them and also give them a huge discount. Hearing this, the three brothers become very happy and start enjoying their lunch. After lunch, while the three brothers are driving, Enrico suddenly notices something on the road. He stops the car and goes closer. They see a store showcasing a new product in the market, compact discs, CDs. This meant that the era of audio cassettes was now ending. That night, Enrico comes home and gives Teresa a gift. Enrico says, "Whenever I look back, I see an entire circus. Directors, singers, and the police chasing me. All I ever wanted was to become a DJ. If I shut down Mixed by Erry, will you stay with me?" Teresa replies, "No, Erry, because I'm still waiting for that romantic tape you promised me." Saying this, Teresa hugs Enrico. In the next scene, Barambani is at a record label's meeting. A man is giving a presentation, showing the sales chart. He says, "These are the sales figures of our record company. The biggest share in tape sales belongs to a company called Mixed by Erry, which mainly deals in piracy." He further adds, "The best-selling tapes of Mixed by Erry are those of the Sanremo festival. Their tapes are already available at market stalls before the music is even officially released." Someone in the meeting asks, "How do they manage to do this?" Another man answers, "Maybe someone among us is leaking these tapes." Everyone in the meeting then decides that they must somehow put an end to this business. Because of this, Barambani becomes worried and goes straight to meet Enrico at his house. Meanwhile, under pressure from the record labels, the police also begin taking action against Mixed by Erry. A new department against piracy is created, and Officer Riccardi is put in charge. Barambani tells Enrico everything that was discussed in the meeting. He warns him, "The record labels are planning with the police to get you arrested because your sales are at the top in Italy. They may even be tapping your phones. Stop this work. You already have enough money for your future generations to live without ever having to work." Hearing this, Enrico thanks Barambani and sees him off outside. In the next scene, Enrico and Pepe are sitting at a bar. Pepe is staring at a CD and thinking, "How are we going to copy this?" Just then, the phone rings. Pepe answers. It's Angelo calling from Japan. Angelo tells him, "I found something here in Japan called a CLC device. This device can even copy CDs." Pepe immediately tells him to send the device to Italy as soon as possible by boat. Right after that call, Enrico uses the same phone to call his wife, Teresa. He says, "Teresa, it's our anniversary. Why don't we go watch the Sanremo festival this time?" While talking, Enrico starts saying strange things on the phone. He was actually trying to check whether his phone was being tapped, and Enrico was absolutely right. On the other side, Officer Riccardi and his team were indeed listening to their calls. Now, the next scene shows Enrico arriving at the Sanremo festival with his entire family. There, Undercover police officers were present everywhere, and across the street in another building, Officer Riccardi was also present, still tapping their calls. Before going inside the festival, Enrico goes to a public phone to make a call. A man standing nearby begins recording that phone call. Another man sitting there comments he's talking to someone in Nepal. But when they hear the lady's address, the recording man goes quiet, because that address was actually Enrico's secret contact. After cutting the call, Enrico walks toward the hall entrance. There, he spots Barambani standing outside the premium seating area. Enrico signals to him, and Barambani quietly walks away. At that moment, Enrico also notices the presence of many undercover officers. It becomes clear the one leaking the Sanremo festival music was none other than Barambani himself. Enrico then enters the hall, kisses his wife, and sits with his family to enjoy the show. Meanwhile, Riccardi's team seizes a vehicle loaded with Sanremo festival copies, not only tapes this time, but CDs as well. Just then, one of Riccardi's men informs him, "Sir, someone wants to meet you. It's about Mixed by Erry." Riccardi immediately goes to meet the person, and finds that it is none other than Barambani. In the following scene, we see the three brothers at their father's house. Like in their childhood days, they make tea with him, pack it in whiskey bottles, and label them. Doing this old family work together brings them joy. But Enrico realizes that even after earning so much money, deep down, he is still unhappy. Then, the movie shifts to Barambani, who had surrendered himself to the police. To save himself from punishment, he requested leniency and in exchange, agreed to tell the police everything about Enrico and his business. Meanwhile, Enrico is at home, preparing a romantic tape for Teresa, the very one she had asked him for. He places the tape beside Teresa's bed and is about to leave the house when suddenly Riccardi arrives and arrests him. The movie then jumps back to the present timeline, showing Enrico in jail. Later, we see him in court, where he and his brothers are formally charged. The judge asks Enrico, "What do you have to say? Do you plead guilty or innocent?" Enrico replies, "I am a DJ." And the movie ends there. In the conclusion, it is revealed that Enrico, Pepe, and Angelo were each sentenced to 4 years and 6 months in prison. Following this case, the Federation Against Music Piracy Act was established. Later, Enrico began working in gift box distribution and occasionally returned to DJing. It is also revealed that Enrico and his brothers had sold around 180 million music tapes in the market at that time. In the credit scene, Angelo tells Pepe and Enrico that he had hidden 30 billion lira under a tennis court. When they would be released from prison 10 years later, they could reclaim the land and enjoy the money. But Enrico then explains to him about the Maastricht Treaty, under which Italy had joined the European Union. This meant that Italy's currency was no longer the lira, but had changed to the euro. Angelo and Pepe laugh, thinking it's a joke. How can a country's currency just change overnight? And with that, the movie closes. So friends, that was the unbelievable journey, full of risk, power, betrayal, and dreams. Hard to believe, isn't it, that all this actually happened in real life? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and type YES in the comments. And of course, subscribe so you don't miss more stories like this. Because picture Abhi Baki Hai Mir Dos. And now, as promised, the name of today's film is Mixed by Erry.